रथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीरा Did I become cut? I think.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yes, you got
Did I?
cut, Maharaj.
All right, all right. Hare Krishna. Dandas. Hare Krishna. And Dandas. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Nityananda Namastubhyam Premananda Pradayine Kalo Kalmashanashaya Jannavapataye Namaha. हे श्री दयित हे भुवनैक बंधो हे कृष्ण हे चपल हे करुणैक सिंधो वृंदावनासीन हितावतार प्रसीद राधा प्रणय प्रचार प्रायस्व जगन्नाथ गुरु संसार वासिना दग्धं मां कालदष्टं च त्वामहं शरणं गतः राधा सम्मुख संशक्तिं सखी संग निवासिनी तामहं सततं वन्दे गुरुरूपां परां सखीम्. So we are discussing this wonderful scripture called Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita, and today is the appearance day of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So first of all, offer my millions of obeisances to Lotus feet of Asmadya Guru Pad Padma, Nitula Preshtajat Guru Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Nitrendi Swami Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Dandi Maharaj, Nam Nishta Santa Shri Aniruddha Prabhuji, and all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis who are gathered here, please accept my humble obeisances. Offer obeisances to Lotus feet of Shri Nityananda Prabhu, who was born in the Ekachakra Dham. And Eka Chakra is a very nice village. I visited there once or maybe twice, but a little away from Navadvip Dham. So once we went to Navadvip Dham, then we took a special bus and then we went there actually, in the company of devotees. So here we are discussing Mata Mora Putra Bhave Karena Bandhana Atihina Jnana Kare Lalana Talana. Mother sometimes binds me as a son. She nourishes and protects me, thinking me utterly helpless. So here actually how the mother she nourishes Krishna and how Yashoda she nourishes Krishna. Tambulam Sumharda Charvitamita Kome Mukhe Nikshipet Unmargam Prastam Chatu Vachani Komam Vashes Tapet. Ehiti Vidura Sarita Buja Swanke Nidhaya Duna Keli Strasta Shikhandakamam Punar Vyaduya Bandhatuka. So here actually Krishna is remembering that my mother, when he went to Mathura, is very much remembering his mother. Because Mother Yashoda's love and affection is so great. Actually, one wonderful story comes in Chaitanya Bhagavata. Bhakti Rakshidhar Maharaj, he used to tell this story that one time, Gaur Nityananda Prabhu, they were actually, and Krishna Balram, they met each other. And Krishna and Balram were stealing butter, and Gaur Nityananda Prabhu were fighting with them. And I think Sachi Mata had that dream. So Gaur Nityananda said, "This is our yuga. You cannot steal butter in this age. This is Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga will be stealing butter. And then they were fighting with each other. Means Bhagwan is fighting with himself. So this you can see that Nityananda Prabhu is Balaram. Brajendra Nandana Jayi Sachi Sutta Hoilo Sei Balaram Hoilo Nitai. Papi Tapi Jata Chilo Hariname Uddharilo Tara Sakshi Jagai Madhai. So Tar Sakshi Jagai Madhai. So Gaur Nityananda Prabhu, they are actually nothing but Shri Krishna Balaram. Krishna has come as Nimai Pandit, and our Balaram Prabhu has come as Nityananda Prabhu. So that's why if we want bhakti, then we must surrender to Gaur Nityananda Prabhu. They are our teachers. Because Krishna told in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja Aham Tvam Sarva Papyabhyo Mokshishami Ma Shuchaha. That don't lament, I will save you from all the sins. Just surrender unto me. But people didn't understand how to surrender to Bhagwan. It is not possible for people to understand. So Bhagwan came as teachers. Not only one teacher, but actually 5 teachers. Our gurus are 5 gurus. There is Gauranga Mahaprabhu is also our guru. Then also Nityananda Prabhu is also our guru. Advaita is also Acharya, is also our guru. Then also Shivas Pandit is great guru, is Narad Muni. And Gaurahari's dear consort actually, Shri Gadadhar Pandit, is Shakti. Gaura Shakti is also Guru. They are Panchatattva, they all are our Gurus. So in the beginning, actually, we are supposed to worship this Panchatattva. We worship this Panchatattva because by their mercy only we can advance in bhakti. So we should offer tribute to lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu. He is now merciful. So Mata More Putra Bhave, in the position of a son, Karena Bandhana. No one bound Krishna like Mother Yashoda bound. It was not possible for Kaushalya to bind him. Aditi could not bind Vamadev. No one could bind Krishna. But our Maya Yashoda, she bound Krishna. This is the greatness of Mother Yashoda's love. She is completely able to control Krishna. And even more Radharani will be controlling. So in thinking very poor. So Ati Hina in thinking very poor, Kare does Lalana, nourishing, and Palana, protecting. Like mother, she will think that Krishna is utterly helpless. He needs milk, he is hungry, he may be sick, so he should be given some medicine. If he is crying, actually, then I must give him breast milk, give him medicine. She will even bring Lord Shiva to make Krishna stop crying. Once Krishna was crying very much, and Lord Shiva wanted to have darshan of Krishna. So Krishna was crying for Lord Shiva. Then Mother Yashoda called that great yogi Shiva, and Shiva gave darshan to Lord Krishna. Then Krishna stopped crying. This also happened in Navadvip also. Sometimes Nimai is crying very much. So mother doesn't know what to do. So then the elderly gopis used to chant the name Haribol, Haribol, Gaur Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. So when he heard the name Gaur Hari, Krishna, Krishna, then only Nimai Pandit would stop crying. They have so much love. So like that. So Nityananda Prabhu has natural love and affection for Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Just like Balaram has natural love and affection for Krishna, Balaram is always serving Krishna, Nityananda Prabhu is always serving Gauranga. But Gaur is also respecting him as Guru, because Nityananda Prabhu is actually disciple of Madhavendra Puri. He's Madhavendra Puri disciple, if I'm not wrong. But I think he went to all over India pilgrimage with Lakshmipati Tirtha. Some people say with Madhavendra Puri, but either way, he is a senior of Mahaprabhu in Diksha Parampara. So that's why Mahaprabhu sometimes, Mahaprabhu always respects Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu is Balaram, his Guru Tattva. So Pratamam tu Guru Pujyam Tashyam Amavarchanam Kurvan Siddhim Vapnoti Annatha Nishpala Bhavet. If you don't worship Guru first, then Krishna will not accept your worship. So now it is told that Sakha Shuddha Sakhe Kore Skande Arohana Tumi Kona Bada Loka Tumi Ami Sama Sakha. Sakha here is the friend. Now Sakha is also Nityananda Prabhu, is also Sakha of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They have Sakhya Bhav also is there because they are Krishna Balaram. Now Krishna Balaram, they are great Sakhas. They are also brothers, but they also have this mood of being Sakha, friends. And but he's a special friend because he's also the brother and his elder brother. So there is also parental affection is also mixed. So many melos are mixed in Balram's affection for Krishna. But Krishna has many other sakhas also, like Madhumangal. I was reading today that once Jatila, she forbade Krishna. She didn't allow Krishna to. She didn't allow Radharani to meet Krishna. Jatila is the mother-in-law of Radharani. So Madhumangal came and telling Radharani that Krishna has fallen unconscious in your separation. So what to do? So Radharani on a leaf, she wrote the name two syllables Radha, and she gave that leaf in the hand of Sri Madhumangalji. And Madhumangal went and he placed that leaf on the maybe heart of Krishna or in the hand of Krishna. And when that leaf carrying the name of Radha, Krishna saw, oh, he was immediately came to consciousness. So that is the power of the Radha Nam. Radha Nam Parama Sukha. So Madhumangal, he does that seva, means he is actually protecting the life of Krishna. Otherwise, Krishna, he cannot tolerate the separation. It's very difficult for him to tolerate the separation of Radharani. But these Priyadam Sakhas do like that. So they have that intimacy. But there are other sakhas also are there. There are different types of sakhas which are described in the Jaivadharam book. So you see that our Banshidas Babaji Maharaj also, he used to, he had the deities, I think, of Gaur Nitai, and he had so much love and affection for Gaur Nitai. Once there was Vinod Bihari Brahmachari Prabhu, means our Param Gurudev, went to Bhajan Kutir of Babaji. Babaji was seated, Vinod, next to him with great respect, because he is disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Giving great respect, Babaji said, you sit next to me. Now, Babaji had so much love and affection for his disciples of his dear friend, Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. So, because anyone who is initiated by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, Babaji used to give them great respect. So, this Krutiratna Prabhu is the name of Param Gurudev. He noticed that Babaji was frying eggplant on a griddle and turning the pieces over with his hand. So actually, he was frying eggplant on the griddle. And so he asked Babaji if spatula should not be used. They should use a spoon, actually, spatula. So Babaji gave the answer. Let me see what Nitai Gaur are doing. His renunciation and uncommon activities were very astonishing. Means he said, a spatula you would be needed actually to fry the eggplant on brinjal. But he said, let me see what Gaur Nitai want to do. He had left everything for Gaur Nitai. He was fully absorbed in the love for Gaur Nitai. Sometimes to deceive the public, Babaji would prepare a hookah with tobacco. In India, many people they smoke hookah. So this Bamsar Babaji Maharaj sometimes would make a hookah with tobacco and say, today no fire, no tobacco. So sometimes he used to keep the hookah in front of his Gaur Nitai deities, hookah, and he used to tell them, ask them to make it prasad. You please smoke this hookah and make it prasad. Then immediately he would get the answer and say, oh, my Gaur Nitai do not smoke tobacco. It is extremely difficult for ordinary people to understand what kind of power is arising and when in the heart of a transcendental Mahajana. So great persons like Bamshira Babaji Maharaj, how we can understand what love and affection he has for Gaur Nitai deity. So they are, so that's why this is actually the Nityananda Prabhu's mercy. Actually, Krishna himself has come as Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Actually, in Tattva Sandarbha, Shiv Goswami, he has quoted verses from many Samhitas, which reveals that Gauranga Sundari is the combined form of Sri Radha and Krishna. Antah Krishnam Bahir Gauram, Darshit Angadi Vaibhavam, Kalo Sankirtana Desmai, Krishna Chaitanya Mahashita. Tattva Sandarbha, it is told. I take shelter of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Kali Yuga through the process of Sankirtan. Internally, he is Sri Krishna himself and externally appears in his Gaura Swarupa. He has manifested himself along with his majestic influence, beginning with his Angas or limbs or Upanga or subsidiary limbs, namely Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Advaita Prabhu, Sri Gadadhar Pandit and his devotees headed by Shivas. So Nityananda Prabhu is Anga. Anga is his very limb. How much we love our hand. So he is the right hand of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu has two hands. One hand is Nityananda Prabhu, one is Advaita Prabhu. So these two Prabhus, Advaita Prabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, serve the Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is only one, but Prabhus are two, Advaita Prabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. So that's why it's most munificent. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurat Vishe Nama. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not open any hospitals. He did not open any orphanages. He did not open places to feed people, hungry people. No. But he opened the great schools, Gaudiya Maths, institutions where bhakti will be taught. So that's why he's very merciful. He is giving what other incarnations did not give. He is most munificent. And in Markandeya Puran, it is told, Golokam cha parityaja lokanam tranakaranat karo gauranga rupena lila lavanya vigraha. So in many scriptures, and especially in the books of the Goswamis, there is plenty of evidence proving that Shri Gaura Sundari is Sri Krishna. And vice versa. So just like if Gaura Sundari is Sri Krishna, then certainly Balram is Nitai. In Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 2.109, we have seen Shri Krishna Avatari Vrajendra Kumara Apane Chaitanya Rupe Kaila Avatar. And Narottam Das Thakur has also written Brajendra Nandana Jai Sachi Sutta Haila Sei Balarama Haila Nitai Papita Pijata Chilo Hariname Uddarilo Tar Sakshi Jagai Madhai. So much mercy was shown to Jagai Madhai by Nityananda Prabhu. So Nityananda Prabhu is very, very merciful. Today is his appearance day. We should always respect Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So this is very, very important. Every day in traditional Gaudiya Kirtan, the songs are first sung to Shri Guru. We should always sing Gurudev song. Then to the Vaishnavas, then to Shri Gaur Nitai. And then we should sing about the process of surrender, Sharanagati, and then to Radha Krishna. So the Kirtan session ends with the singing of the Mahamantra. So like this, how we always sing the Kirtan of Gaur Nitai also. We needed mercy. So here, Nitai Gauranga Advaita Shrivasa Gadadhara Panchana Krishna Nama Rase Bhasaive Jagata Kori Mahasudata. See Nitai Gauranga Advaita Shrivasa and Gadadhara. The five personalities will flood the entire universe with the nectar of Krishna's name by performing Mahasankirtan. So this Panchatattva, especially Shri Nityananda Prabhu, performing so much Kirtan. Nitai is actually the wealth of my life. Nitai is my family. But for Nitai, I have no resort. Lotan Das Thakur has said. Lotan Das Thakur could not get much chance to glorify Nityananda Prabhu in his Chaitanya Mangala. So he glorified in separate bhajans. I shall throw ash in the face of worldly pleasure. I don't want any worldly pleasure. While chanting the name of Nitai, I shall sustain my life by begging in the village. And then he's telling that I shall never visit any place where Nitai is absent. And I shall never look upon the face of one who is averse to him. And now he's telling the water that bathes Nitai's feet is the same Ganga that Lord Shiva bears upon his head. You can see the position of Nitai. That the water that has washed his feet, Shiva adorns the head of Lord Shiva. One who does not worship this Nitai will suffer and die. That is what Lotan Das Thakur is telling. Lotan Das declares, I shall scorch the face of one who has no regard for my Nitai. So this is actually Nityananda Prabhu, very, very special. And his Krishna Sakha, his elder brother also, Balram Prabhu. Actually, people are maddened, they are maddened by false ego. And they forget the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu. And actually, people are considering illusion to be truth. Actually, this material world is illusion. But they are considering it to be truth. Although it is, material world is also Krishna's energy, but it is temporary. Understand? It's not permanent. If Nitai is merciful, one can attain Radha and Krishna in Braj. So firmly take hold of Nitai's two lotus feet. We have been advised to catch the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu here means our Gurudev, Shipad, Dandi Maharaj and our Guru Maharaj, Anirudh Prabhu. They are all manifestations of Nityananda Prabhu. So they are all non-different from Nityananda Prabhu. So the lotus feet of Nitai are eternal truth and his servitors are eternally liberated. Always aspire to attain the lotus feet of Nitai. Narottam is very unhappy. Oh Nitai, please make me happy by keeping me close to the reddish soles of your lotus feet. So actually, Nityananda Prabhu is never angry. He is noble personality. He is the personification of supreme transcendental bliss. He is never angry, devoid of all false ego. He wants us throughout the time. Preaching means you cannot have any false ego. Nityananda has no false ego. He'll simply go house to house, giving Krishna Prem to everyone. Going from door to door among the residences of lowly and fallen souls, he freely distributes the Harinam Mahamantra. Holding a straw in his teeth out of humility, he calls out to whomsoever he sees, please purchase me by calling out Gaura. Speaking in this way, Nityananda Prabhu rolls on the ground, appearing like a golden mountain tumbling in the dust. Lochandas says that sinful person who has not experienced the awakening of attachment for such an avatar simply comes and goes in the endless cycle of birth and death. So Nityananda Prabhu is giving us Krishna Bhakti. He is giving up Krishna Bhakti. He is giving us Gaura Bhakti. So he is the root of divine bliss. His eyes are the color of a crimson sunrise, overflow with a desire to bestow mercy. Nityananda Prabhu's eyes are like the color of a crimson sunrise. He is an abode of mercy. From him a stream of compassion consistently flows as he sweetly sings Hari Hari. While enjoying spectacular dancing in the company of his devotees, Nitai floats in multicolored waves of rasa. He smiles gently, speaks sweetly, and moves his neck to and fro. Remaining absorbed in bliss, day and night, he impresses the fallen while chanting the name of Gauda. With great vigor, he distributes the treasure of Prema to the people of the world. In the midst of Kirtan, Nitai Chandra, the king of Rasikas, is like a golden mountain. He spreads the rasa of playful pastimes of Raja through his sweet singing. Overwhelmed with prema, sometimes he rolls on the earth, covering himself with ashen grey or dust. Sometimes he wanders restlessly, sometimes he plays, sometimes he laughs very loudly. Sometimes he perspires, sometimes he laments, sometimes he experiences horripilation. And sometimes he stammers, sometimes he leaps long distances, sometimes he jumps high into the air, and sometimes he heaves deep sighs. He is the ocean of mercy, the friend of all, the full moon dissipating the darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali. By removing the cataracts of illusion from the eyes of the residents of this world, Shrita is fulfilled their desires. By bestowing prema, he has delivered the blind, the fallen, the destitute, and the wicked. The whole world has been delivered. Only this Radha Vallabh Das has been deprived. So Nityananda Prabhu's glories are sung, great glories are there. So here, now next verse, Priya jadi mana kori kare bharsa Veda suthaite harsya hare Sei moraman. Priya means lover actually. Priya actually means Radharani. She sometimes chastises Krishna. Especially what I said in Gita Govinda, Yahi Madhava, Yahi Keshava, Ma Vada Karitava Vadam, Tam Anusara Sarasira Lochana, Ritava Harati Vishadam. Yahi Madhava, Yahi Keshava, Ma Vada Karitava Vadam, Ma Vada Karitava Vadam, Amanusara Sarasi Haruhalochana Yatava Harati Vishadam Yavadatai Tavavadam Ma Vadatai Tavavadam. Like this, Radharani sometimes she's chastising Krishna, but Krishna likes that very much. Krishna is very much like that. So Priya Yati Manukari. Mana means actually one stage of love. That sulky mood is coming. Sulky mood. Mana means actually Ahereva Gatir Premana Sabhava Kutira Bhave. Atur Hetasya Atur Hetasya Yuna Madhav Viranchari. So actually this is the so many pastimes of Mana take place. If you study Chamatkar Chandrika, then actually one day Shri Radha was in deep bath. She was in sulky mood. This is actually unfathomable. Even Krishna cannot specify a sulky mood. So although Krishna brought her gifts, praised her, tried to pacify her in every way possible, nothing he did had any effect. At last he went to Kundalata to consult with her privately about what to do. Means here actually you see that Radha is in Man, Krishna is trying to pacify her Man, but not possible for Krishna to pacify her Man. So he is taking assistance from Kundalata, who is actually a wife of, if I'm not wrong, wife of Krishna's brother, Krishna's cousin's wife actually. And then they actually, after discussing the situation with Kundalata, he disguised himself as a beautiful young girl. He donned young girl's clothing and jewelry and assumed a voice so sweet and enchanting that it put the melodious song of the cuckoo to shame. In this way, he went with Kundalata to the house of Jatila, his jeweled ankle bells tinkling softly as he walked. Now, Krishna, you see, he has become a female. He has taken the female attire just to pacify Radharani. To this extent, Krishna will go to pacify the man of Radharani. So, man, actually, Dhairyam man parikrahepi jagani yacham shukamandanam gopinam cha vivechanam vidvana rambe raho marga sadhvi satcharitam vilasa virato pratyur gahanveshanam tattat gaurav rakshanam muraripur vamshirava apekshanam. Sometimes Krishna's flute song will conquer Radharani's man and pacify Radharani's man. But sometimes even that will also not work. So sometimes Radharani will chastise Krishna. Vatsana. Vatsana means actually chastisement. That you are a black snake, you are inside black, outside black, you are untrustworthy. Then this is actually the thing. Vatsana. Rebuking. But when these gopis will rebuke Radha Krishna, then Krishna will find it sweeter than even Vedas Stuti. The Vedas, Om Sahasra Purusha, Sahasraksha, Sahasrapaha. So like this Veda Stuti also not so palatable for Krishna's ears as much as this criticism. Actually, you'll see that these Vedas, they are Stuti. So Bhagavan is non-different from his name, qualities, pastimes, narrations, and the prayers, Stava and Stuti to him. The Sam Veda contains prayers that are the very embodiment of the Lord. Sam Veda. Because Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has said that, I am Sama Veda. We'll now come to Bhagavad Gita. We are studying every Sunday. 10 chapter 36, 35th verse says, Brut Samatha Samnam Gayatri Chandasamaham Masana Marga Sheshoham Rutunam Kusumakara. Krishna is telling that Brat Sama, the prayers to Indra in the Brat Sama. So these are all the hymns of the Sama Veda. I am Brat Sama. And the prayer of Indra. Of meters, I am Gayatri. Among the meters, Krishna is Gayatri. And of the months, I am Margashisham. And of seasons, I am the flower-bearing spring. So now the spring season has begun in India. Your country may be a little cold sometimes, but here or maybe wrong. But in India, the perfect now, the Rutu has come. This is Ruturaj Vasanta, the king of all the Rutus is Shri Vasanta. So here you see that Bhagavan earlier said that the Vedas, he is the Sam Veda. So among the Vedas, Vedanam Sama Vedosmi. So these Vedas are manifestation of Krishna, and the best is Sama Veda. Now he also said that within the Sama Veda is Brat Sama. Within Sam Veda there is one stuti called Brat Sama. The Root Mantra which is sung in Tvam Riddhim Havamahe indicates Brat Sama. Among meters he is the meter called Gayatri, and among the seasons he is Kusumakara. Now Gayatri is actually the horse name also. So there the sun god has 7 horses. Sun god's chariot has only one wheel. And he is circumambulating this Sumeru mountain. And this sun god has one horse by the name Gayatri. There are 7 meters these 7 meters are the 7 horses. And also among seasons he is Kusumakara, the flower bearing spring season, Vasanta. But you see that this particular Sam Veda is very dear to Krishna. The Vedas are very dear to Krishna. They are Krishna's Vibhuti. But when the lovers, especially Radharani, Vishakha, Lalita will chastise him, criticize him to be cheater, to be debauchee, to be black and untrustworthy, and then one who is always defiling the chaste woman, and all this type of criticism. Then also Bhujanga, Bhujanga means black snake. Krishna Bhujanga, this and that. He likes it very much, enjoys that. Then, if my beloved consort reproaches me in a sulky mood, that steals my mind from the reverent hymns of the Vedas. If Krishna is like some Brahmanas that are singing Brahmanas are singing the glories of Krishna, and if any of his gopi like Radharani or Vishakha, Lalita, they are criticizing Krishna, Krishna is attracted to the criticism of uh, these gopis actually. Huh? So actually, this sulky mood is actually one type of transformation of love. We cannot imitate that because first comes prema, after prema sneha. Sneha, then pranaya, then man will come. Actually, sometimes man will come before pranaya, and sometimes man will come after pranaya. But if it comes after pranaya, after intimate love has developed, then it is even stronger man. It is more powerful man. So sometimes man will come before pranaya, and sometimes man will come after pranaya. So that is um, so actually this man is there. Everyone has man. Even Lakshmi Devi has also man. Like for example, you'll see that Krishna will Jagannath will go in chariot to Gundicha, which is like Vrindavan. He will not return very quickly. Then Lakshmi will also be in sulky mood. She will also climb a chariot and she will go and search for Jagannath. So all consorts of Krishna have this sulky mood. Satyabhama also has some sulky mood. But Radharani's man is very deep man. And there is Hetuka man, there is Ahetuka man. So they are all these are different ecstasies, loving ecstasies she has. It progresses like Sneha means affection, then Sulky mood, then Pranay intimate love, then Rag means spontaneous love, then Anurag sub ecstatic love, and then after that, so like this Mahabhav up to Mahabhav. So man is one type of ecstasy. So according to Upanishads, all living entities are dependent on the supreme living entity, the personality of Godhead. It is said in Katha Upanishad 5.3. Nityo nityanam chetana shetananam eko bahunam yo vidadati kama. One eternal living entity supports all the other eternal living entities. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead maintains all the other living entities. They remain subordinate to the Lord even when joined with Him in the reciprocation loving affairs. But in the course of exchanging transcendental love of the highest purity, sometimes the subordinate devotee tries to predominate over the predominator. One who lovingly engages with the Supreme Lord as if his mother or father sometimes supersedes the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, his fiancé or lover sometimes supersedes the position of the Lord. So, like see, Krishna is Antaryami, he is the indwelling super soul of all living entities. But you'll see that devotees are the Antaryami, indwelling super soul of even Krishna. They are the Antaryami of Antaryami. Means Krishna is residing in the heart of all living entities and devotees are residing in the heart of Krishna. So how you see that Krishna is the greatest, but devotees have more ability to serve Krishna than Krishna has to serve them. Otherwise, how they can control Krishna? Because Radharani and Yashoda, they have more ability to serve Krishna than Krishna has to serve them. And that's why by that service, by that loving service only, they are able to call Krishna. So he is the original personality of Godhead. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. Means we are also Nitya and Bhagavan is also Nitya, but he's the greatest Nitya, we are small Nitya. So actually this is what is told. Although the universe is real, its existence is not eternal. This material world is not eternal. It is real. This material world is not false. Like Shankaracharya told, Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. Jiva Brahmaiva Nabra. Jagan Mithya. No, we don't say this world is false. But it is not eternal. This material world is real, but it is not eternal. So this is the Shruti mantra which says this same Shruti mantra comes in two Upanishads. Katha Upanishad 2.2.13 and also it comes in Shveta Upanishad 6.13. Nitya Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kama. He is the supreme eternal among all eternal entities, the supreme conscious being among all conscious beings. Even though he is one, he fulfills the desires of all. So all our desires are fulfilled by his mercy only. So that's why Nityo Nityanam Shetana Shetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. So some people say that the soul didn't exist before, but that is not the case. The possibility of the soul not existing prior to its existence in its present body is refuted by the statement. Similarly, it is also not true that you, the kings, and I will not continue to exist in the future. We'll all continue to exist. Thus, it has been proven that the soul is indestructible. In this regard, Kathopanishad states, Nityo Nityanam Chetana Chetanam Eko Bhavunam Yogadhyatama. Before we came in this body, we were present. The soul was eternal because we are Nitya. And even after we die, we will not die because we are Nitya. The soul is Nitya. We think we are this body, but actually we are not the body, we are the spirit soul. We are Nitya, and Bhagavan is the supreme Nitya, and we are the minute Nitya. But we both are Nitya. No doubt that we should not have doubt that death doesn't end everything. We certainly will be eternally existing. We are eternally existing. Because in Mundaka Upanishad also it is told, Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakaya Samanam Vriksham Parishasva Jate. Tayor Anya Pipalam Sadhyati Anashnan Anya Avichavasitashiti. So Kshirodakshay Purusha, with Kshirodakshay Vishnu and the living entity live together in the temporary material world, the body. Just like the two birds who are friends sitting on a peepal tree, one, the living entity, is testing the fruits of the tree according to his actions, and the other, Paramatma, is the witness. He is not enjoying the fruits, but is watching his friend. This is the thing. He is watching his friend. That we are testing the sweet and bitter fruit of this material world. Paramatma is just a witness. So Nityananda Prabhu is seeing that we are suffering, and that's why he is coming. He is Paramatma. More than Paramatma. He is even the souls of Sankarshana Karana Goeshai, Gargovishai, Chapavishai. Sheshasya Shamsa Kalas Nityan, Nandakya Rama. He is the original Nitya personality. So he is actually supreme eternal Nityananda Prabhu. But he actually comes on the earth to help us, to preach us Krishna Bhakti. Without him, we cannot make advancement in Bhakti. Understand? So Jiva is eternal, and the annihilation of his individual existence, Nirvana, is therefore impossible. Understand? So Jiva can never annihilate, can never be annihilated. Nirvana is not possible. Those who say there will be Nirvana, Jiva will be finished. This is not accepted by this Shveta Shudra Upanishad. Nitya Nityanam Chetana Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. So Jiva is actually known as the separated part and parcel. He is not actually separate. The Jiva has no separate existence from Krishna, and he will always be subordinate to him in this world and in the spiritual world. So we are never separate from Krishna, and we will always be subordinate to him. We will always be his slave. Understand? We will always be his eternal servant, and no doubt about it. So actually, the Vedanta Sutta states that the entire universe is created by Krishna. We are all Jivas. The Jiva cannot create the universe. So we cannot create the universe. Who created the universe? Krishna created the universe. Understand? So Jivera Swarupa hai Krishna Nitya Das. Jiva is actually Krishna's eternal servant. So we are not the creator. We are actually eternal Jiva. Mamai Mamsha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manashashthanindriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. The eternal Jivas in this material world are certainly my separated parts and parcels. Within Namsha. Bound by material nature, they are attracted by the six senses, including the mind. So we'll never merge in the Brahma. We'll always remain separate. This is the understanding. So Lord, enjoying his childing, takes it very nicely. The exhibition of natural law makes such activities very enjoyable. In worship of the Supreme Lord with veneration, there is no manifestation of such natural love because the devotee considers the Lord is superior. Regulative principles in devotional service are meant for those who have not invoked their natural love of Godhead. When natural love arises, all regulative methods are surpassed, and pure love is exhibited between the Lord and the devotee. Although on such a platform of love, the devotee sometimes appears to predominate over the Lord or to transgress regulative principles. Such dealings are far more advanced than ordinary dealings through regulative principles with awe and veneration. A devotee who is actually free from all designations due to complete attachment in love for the Supreme exhibits spontaneous love for Godhead, which is always superior to the devotion of regulative principles. The informal language used between lover and beloved is significant of pure affection. When devotees worship their beloved as the most venerable object, spontaneous loving sentiments are observed to be lacking. A neophyte devotee who follows the Vedic instructions that regulate those who lack pure love of Godhead may superficially seem more exalted than a devotee in spontaneous love of Godhead. But in fact, such spontaneous pure love is far superior to regulated devotional service. Such pure love of Godhead is always glorious in all respects, more so than reverential devotional service rendered by a less affectionate devotee. So, if you see that regulated devotional service and spontaneous devotional service, then the spontaneous devotional service is so much superior. And devotee who is serving Krishna in spontaneous devotional service, Raga Marga, is so much superior than those who are in Vaidhi Bhaktas. Understand? ए शुद्ध भक्तलया करिम अवतार करीब विविध विधाद्भुत विहार वैकुंठादे नाही जे लीलार प्रचार से लीला करी बजाते मोर चमत्कार. A means this Shuddha Bhakta, pure devotees. Laya, taking Karimu, I shall take avatar, incarnation. Kariba, I shall do Vividha Vida, various kinds. Adbhuta, wonderful Vihar pastimes. Vaikuntha, in the Vaikuntha planets, etc. Nahi, not JJ, whatever. Leela of the pastimes. Prachara, broadcasting, say those Leela pastimes. Kariba, I shall perform. Jati, in which more my chamatkar, wonder. Taking these pure devotees with me, I shall descend and sport in various wonderful ways, known, unknown even in the Vaikuntha. I shall broadcast such pastimes by which even I am amused. Lord Krishna, in the form of Lord Chaitanya, educates his devotees to develop progressively to the stage of pure devotional service. Thus, he appears periodically as a devotee to take part in various wonderful activities depicted in his sublime philosophy and teachings. There are innumerable Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky, and in all of them, the Lord accepts the service rendered by his eternal servants in a reverential mood. Therefore, Lord Shri Krishna presents his most confidential pastime as he enjoys them in his transcendental realm. Such pastimes are so attractive that they attract even the Lord, and thus he releases them in the form of Lord Chaitanya. So, actually, um, uh, Vaikuntha also Krishna sports. Vaikuntha, Vai means no, Kuntha means anxiety. The place where there is no anxiety, that is Vaikuntha, that Vaikuntha conception. But beyond that comes this particular planet, Golok Vrindavan, much higher than that. So, so that's actually the thing. Innumerable minute conscious jivas manifest from the Tathastha Shakti, marginal potency like uncountable sparks emanating from a blazing fire. Tathastha Shakti is also known as Jiva Shakti. Although the jivas by nature are conscious, they are minute and therefore can be covered by the deluding material Jiva Shakti. Because of their marginal nature, the jivas are qualified to go either to the spiritual world, Vaikuntha, or to the material world. When they gain the strength of the spiritual potency, they can serve Bhagwan in Vaikuntha. Conversely, when they are opposed to Bhagwan, they wander within the illusory material world. This is the profound purport of this verse. So actually, so this is actually the thing. So we want to go to Vaikuntha or we want to stay in the material world. So Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada came to this world to teach us Vaikuntha Nam and Vaikuntha Katha. Vaikuntha is the name of Krishna. One name of Krishna is, he was born from Vikuntha Devi, so he's called Vaikuntha. And Krishna's abode is also called Vaikuntha. Means Krishna's name and Krishna's abode, they are same name, Vaikuntha planet. So we should hear Vaikuntha Katha, that means Krishna. The chant of Vaikuntha means Krishna. So this Vaikuntha actually means Krishna. But there is actually an apparent conception there, Narayan, manifestation called Narayan. So many devotees, actually, they can go to Vaikuntha and then no more birth. Actually, such dham in India is actually Purushottam Jagannath Puri. Actually, once Srila Param Gurudev Bhakti Siddhanta Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, he narrated the glories of Purushottam Kshetra. He told that Purushottam Kshetra is not limited to the city of Jagannath Puri, which is 5 kosas. 5 kosas means actually 2.25 mile. 1 mile is 1.5 kilometer. So 5 kosas means actually, I would say about 12 miles. So it is not just that Purushottam Kshetra is not limited to Jagannath Puri. Rather, its circumference is 10 yojanas, approximately 80 miles. Purushottam Kshetra is very big. And the Kshetra, which is 884 kosas in area, has the shape of a conch shape. So this actually Purushottam Kshetra is shaped like conch shape, Jagannath Puri. So if anyone within these 84 kosas leaves his body thinking of Jagannath, he will not take birth in the womb of mother again, but he will go to Vaikuntha. Understand? That is the power of this particular Jagannath Puri. That's why our Guru Maharaj also, he remembered Krishna and he left the world actually. But our Gurudev, he had come from Golok Vrindavan, so no question of his going to Vaikuntha, but he went beyond Vaikuntha Golok. Actually, he had come from there only, that is the eternal home. Our Gurudev is actually eternal associate of Shri Radha Krishna. So that's why he also, Shri Bhakti Pramukh Puri Goswami Maharaj also, the great Acharyas, Guru Varga, they all come from spiritual world and they exhibited the pastime of living this world from Jagannath Puri. So this we want to go to Vaikuntha, then Jagannath Puri go and there you chant, remember Jagannath, and then if you die, you'll certainly go to Vaikuntha, no doubt about it. You see that actually in Jagannath's pastime also it comes. There was actually one crow. Once a drowsy crow, means he was about to sleep. He was sitting on a branch of a tree, and which hung over a lake in front of the temple. There is a temple of Neelamadav. And the crow fell into the water and drowned. So the crow actually drowned in that water. Because he was sleepy, he fell in that water. The crow's soul immediately took a four-armed spiritual form, mounted a transcendental airplane and departed for Vaikuntha. So you see that there was one Brahmana there, Vidyapati. He also wanted to jump in that lake. Said, I will also become four-armed. But a grave voice from the sky announced, you have many things to do. Now you must wait. So you see that before Neelamadav in that lake, the crow fell and he went straight to Vaikuntha. This is the Vaikuntha. So like that. You see that Ajamil became free from suffering of birth and death and attained Vaikuntha Dham simply by the performance of Namabhas. When he uttered the name Narayan to call his son, the Namabhas took him to Vaikuntha actually. Actually, a lot of times people misunderstand things. They say, what is the need of taking initiation? And Gurudev was talking about this, that for example, Jada Bharat didn't take initiation. Bharat Maharaj was born as a deer in next lifetime. Then again, he gave up that body of a deer and he took birth as a Jada Bharat. Brahmana's son. That incarnation, he did not take initiation. So many people say that Jada Bharat didn't take initiation, so we will also not take initiation. But not everyone can be Jada Bharat. For people like us, we all need initiation. So, but someone has Ajamil by Namabhas went to Vaikuntha, but someone has supreme faith in his Guru and is always chanting the name of Krishna free from offenses with someone like that, then what will happen to him? Certainly he will go to the spiritual world, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. So Vaikuntha conception is there. It is, but above that is the Golok Vrindavan conception. And those who want to worship Krishna in Vaidhi Bhakti, they can worship Vaidhi Bhakti, and then they can go to Vaikuntha planet. But Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj is telling that Aradhya Bhagwan Vrajasatanes Dhama Vrindavan. Because Vrindavan is the sweet pastimes of Vrajendra Sham Sundar Krishna take place there. Vrajendra Sham Sundar Krishna is the nectar and ocean of rasa. And it cannot possibly, these pastimes cannot take place in Vaikuntha or even in Saket or Ayodhya Dham. They don't take place in Dwarka also, in Mathura also, or anywhere else other than Vrindavan. There are some special pastimes which take place only in Vrindavan. Therefore, Vrajadham, the Vrajadham being non-different from Krishna, has been described as an equally worshipable principle. So we have to worship Vrindavan also, because as much as Krishna is worshipable, Vrajadham is also equally worshipable. But actually, I think, quoting from a verse from Srila, one verse, Sri Rupa Goswami quotes in Padyaval, he says, Vitarati Mura Mardana Prabhuste Nai Bhajamana Janayam Kadapi Vitarasita the Bhakti Yoga Metan Mathure Mahima Taba Girama Bhumi. That even Krishna will not easily give that prema That prema also Mathura Dham gives very easily. So Mathura, Vrindavan, actually, they are even more merciful than Krishna. There is no doubt about it. So we should worship Vrindavan Dham because their sweet pastimes take place in Vrindavan only. So there are some special pastimes which take place. So Brajendra and Shyamsundar Krishna is served in Braja by the associates in Dasteras, Sakya Vatsalya Ras. But the sweet service of Brajaramani's gopis filled with the highest mirrors of Paramur love is supreme. Among these gopis in Paramur love, Srimati Radhika, the embodiment of Mahabhav, the crest jewel of Krishna's beloved, is the best of all. So among them, Radharani is the best. Visheshu Tavadabala, Taswapi Gopya Sabha Murduvacha, Madhe Tasam Pipa, Asamapi Sachi Vikshitam Kilati. Among all the servants of Krishna, Radharani is the best. So Bhajananda Sri Krishna accepted his sentiments and bodily complexion and appeared in this world as Sri Gaurasundar to test his own sweetness and to distribute Nama Prem throughout the universe. The conceptions of this very Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have been described in a condensed form in the verse Aradhya Bhagwan Chaitanya Dhama Vrindavana. So you'll see that the Parashakti of Bhagwan is also manifested in other three ways, namely a Chit Shakti, Jiva Shakti and Maya Shakti. The Chit Shakti, which is also called the Swarupa or Antaranga Shakti, internal potency, manifests the abodes of the Lord, the Dhamas, such as the Vaikuntha, Golok, Vraja. So you'll see that don't think that Vaikuntha is different from Vraja. Actually, there is no difference because Vaikuntha, Golok, Vrindavan and Vraja, they're all Vaikuntha, Golok and Vraja. Golok is the place where Putana went. She didn't go to Vraja. She went to Golok. So these are all manifestations of Chit Shakti, but there is more condensation. Milk is condensed by hitting, then that becomes rabdi. Rabdi is very, very sweet and very relishable, more relishable than milk. So Vaikuntha, there is also Sachidananda, and Golok is also Sachidananda, and Vraja is also Sachidananda. But Vraja is the most condensed form of Sachidananda place. So therefore, there is more enjoyment out there, more relish is there, more opportunity to surrender in intimate service is there, which is not available in Vaikuntha planets. That's why devotees, they have to cultivate the mood of spontaneous love and affection. That's why this Vaikuntha planets. So in Golok Vrindavan, Shri Baldev Prabhu manifests unlimited jivas to serve Vrindavan. For in Vrindavan, who serve Vrindavan Bihari. Now Vrindavan Bihari, Lord Krishna, they need eternal associates. And these eternal associates manifest from the body of Shri Baldev Prabhu. So Baldev Prabhu's body, all these eternal associates of Krishna are manifest. Vrindavan Bihari Krishnas. In Paravyoma Vaikuntha, Mahasankarshan manifest unlimited Nitya Parshad Jivas to serve the original Lord of Vaikuntha, Narayan. So Narayan, when he needs servants, then who will manifest his servants? Then Mahasankarshan will manifest all these servants like Garuda and all, Jai Vijay, Nanda Sunanda, and Vishwaksen. All these associates of Narayan, all servitors of Narayan come from Mahasankarshan. But in Vrindavan, all the Shridham, Dham, Vasudham, Stok, Krishna, Bhranga, Kokil, Subal, and all these Sakas and all, they're all coming from Baladev, all associates of Krishna. So eternally situated in their own constitutional forms, they always remain attentive to the service of their worshipable deity. So from Balram comes many living entities. They are eternally liberated living entities, Nitya Siddha Parshadas. And they are always serving the object of their worship, Sri Krishna. And they are always very strong, having attained the strength of the spiritual potency, the Chit Shakti. Means they can never fall down. They have no relationship with inert matter. And they do not even know that there is a Shakti called Maya. So the associates of the Krishna in Golok Vrindavan or associates of Narayan in Vaikuntha, which have been manifesting from the body of Balram or Mahasankarshan, they don't know what is Maya. Maya, they don't know what is Maya. Prema alone is their life, and they are unaware of even the slightest semblance of birth, death, fear, and lamentation. So you see that. So that is where we want to go. We want to, that's why Shri Gurudev is sent by Krishna from Vaikuntha or Golok Vrindavan to help us to reach there. Understand? And actually, so jivas also different types. There are actually two types of Nitya Mukta jivas, Aishwaryagata and Madhuryagata. The Aishwaryagata and Nitya Mukta jivas such as Garuda are the associates of Narayan. Means they are knowing, they are having awe and reverence for Narayan. So they are Aishwaryagata jivas. Garuda is actually eternal associate of Narayan. and the Lord of Vaikuntha. And they are the particles of the effulgent rays emanating from Mula Sankarshan, situated in Paravyoma. In Paravyoma, in Vaikuntha planet, Mula Sankarshan is there. So they are particles emanating from him. And Madhuryagat Nitya Mukta Jivas are the associates of Golok Vrindavan, not Sri Krishna, and they manifest from Baladev in Golok Vrindavan. So all the Madhuryagata Nitya Mukta Jivas, those who know that those who are attracted to Krishna's human-like sweet pastimes, Madhuryagata Nitya Mukta Jivas coming from Baladev Prabhu. Understand? So how great is Sri Nityananda Balram? Understand? So Vaikuntha planet. The beyond Vaikuntha comes this Golok, and beyond Golok comes the eternal Braja in the spiritual sky. So this is our conception. So here now next verse will come. Mo Vishay Gopi Ganer Upapati Bhave Yoga Maya Kariveka Apana Prabhave. Mo Vishay, on the subject of me, Gopi Ganer of the Gopis, Upapati of a paramour, Bhave in the position, Yoga Maya, Lord Krishna's internal potency, Kariveka will make Apana her own Prabhave by the influence. The influence of Yoga Maya will inspire the Gopis with the sentiment that I am their paramour. So Yogamaya is the name of the internal potency that makes the Lord forget himself and become an object of love for his pure devotee in different transcendental levels. This Yogamaya potency creates a spiritual sentiment in the minds of the damsels of Braja, by which they think that Lord Krishna is their paramour. This sentiment is never to be compared to mundane illicit sexual love. It has nothing to do with sexual psychology, although the pure love of such devotees seems to be sexual. One should know for certain that nothing can exist in this cosmic manifestation that has no real counterpart in the spiritual field. All the material manifestations are emanations of the transcendence. The erotic principle of amorous love, reflected in mixed material values, are perverted reflections of the reality of spirit, but one cannot understand the reality unless one is sufficiently educated in the spiritual science. So here actually there is Upapati Bhav. Upapati is one type of mood, paramour mood, means they think that they are not married to Krishna. The influence of Yogamaya will inspire the gopis with the sentiment that I am their paramour. Neither the gopis nor I shall notice this, for our minds will always be entranced by one another's beauty and virtues. So here, Shri Govinda, the hero of Goloka, exhibits his qualities of being the pati, meaning husband or shelter of the gopis, as well as being their upapati, meaning paramour. Both qualities shine forth brilliantly in their pristine splendor, beyond all piety and impiety. This same characteristics also exists in the hero of Gokul, but with some diversity created by the agency of Yogamaya. One may raise the following point: whatever Yogamaya manifests in the absolute truth, so the sentiment of paramour love would similarly have to be accepted as absolutely true. To dispel this doubt, it is said that conviction in the paramour conception can exist in the relishing of rasa, and there is no fault in that because it is not unfounded. However, whatever base convictions exist in mundane consciousness are faulty. They are not present in the pure transcendental world. So here, so Krishna accepted this particular Upapati Bhav. Because with that, Krishna accepted the paramour mood known as Upapati Bhav with the desire of testing rasa, the sweetness of transcendental loving relationships. He is the cause of all causes, Sarva Karana Karana. He who is the origin of everyone, he is himself without without an external cause of origin. He is all powerful and he is the reservoir of all pleasure. Akhil Samar Sindhu. The gopis are Ananda Chinmay Rasa Pratibhavita Stabir Jaiva Nirupataya Kalabi, Shri Brahma Samhita. They represent Ananda Chinmay Rasa, meaning the gopis' forms are submerged in the nectar of the effulgent mellows of the pinnacle of divine love. Moreover, being the personal expansions and counterparts of Sri Krishna, they embody the functions of his pleasure potency, Ladini Shakti. Therefore, where this Sri Krishna is the hero, these gopis are the heroines. How can there be any defect in this mood of paramour love that exists between them? So this is not a defective mood at all. This paramood more upapatya bhav, that is upapati bhav or upapatya bhav, unwedded love, is opposed to dharma and leads to hellish life. This statement refers only to worldly nayakas, lovers, and how can there be even the slightest doubt regarding Sri Krishna, the crown jewel, the crown ruler of dharma and adharma? The meeting of mundane partners entails a touch of immorality. But Leela Purushottam Sri Krishna, who creates and destroys all the innumerable universes simply by a movement of his eyebrows, and the gopis, who are the embodiment of Ladini Shakti, are the most prominent among his immeasurable potencies, can never be touched by this fault. So actually, many people criticize this Upapati Bhav, Paramur mood. But Sri Rupa Goswami has written in Natak Chandrika. It should be understood that whatever scholars have described as inferior about Paroda Bhav, Paroda Upapatya, extramarital affairs between a married woman and her paramour, applies only to mundane lovers, not to Sri Krishna and the gopis. This is also the opinion of Sri Kavi Karnapur in his Alankar Kaustubha. This Upapati Bhav of the transcendentally perfect Sri Krishna and Parakya Bhav of the gopis are not defects, Dushana. Rather, they are ornament, Bhushana. Sri Krishna's Prakat Lila is not illusory. In reality, there is no distinction between the Prakat and Aprakat Lila. Sri Jiva Goswami, Prakat Lila means when Krishna manifests in the Golok, in Mathura, on the earth, and Aprakat Lila which goes on in Golok Vrindavan. So Jiva Goswami thought in regard to Shlok 43 of Brahma Samhita is worth considering following. When Sri Krishna, to show mercy to the Jivas, manifests the sweetness of his pastimes, Leela Madhurya in the material world, it is called Prakat Leela. And when this Leela disappears from the eyes of the living entities in the material realm, it is called Aprakat Leela. In Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Rupa Goswami states, even though Krishna is unborn, his birth and other pastimes are supremely wonderful. For various reasons, he manifests such greatly astonishing transcendental leelas in the material world. So it is illogical to think that there is an eternal husband-wife relationship in Aprakat Leela and an illusory unwedded love in Prakat Leela. Because paramour love is splendidly manifest throughout the Rasa Leela, the crown jewel of all of Krishna's pastimes from beginning to end. It is totally inappropriate to consider this pastime as mic or illusory. In each and every chapter of Rasa Panchadhyayi, the 5 chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam describing Rasa Leela, there are many proofs supporting extramarital love and paramourship. Shri Shukdev Goswami has clearly established Paroda, each gopi marriage with another Gopa, and Upapati Bhav, the gopi's paramour love for Krishna, by quoting the following verses spoken directly by Shri Krishna and by the gopis. Tavaryamana Pativi, 10.29.8. Bhataraha Pratyashchavaha. Evam yat pati apatya suhrudam anuvrittiranga tad gunam eva gayamto nata margani samarshu. So we see that the word pati, husband or protector, is mentioned in a few places. Actually, this does not refer to a married man. Rather, it should be understood as gati, meaning you are my everything. You are my ultimate shelter. It is not correct to say that pati refers only to a married man. The husband of a naika, female love beloved. For example, in the chapter in Ujjwal Leelamani describing various types of naikas, the term Swadhina Bhartrika, woman who controls her pati, is used in relationship to Parakya. Furthermore, it may be said that Krishna has been described as the pati of the naikas, but he has no marital relationship with them. If Krishna is the married husband of them all, then the topic of para dara vimarshanam, to enjoy with others' wife in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.32.37 would not arise. Srimad Bhagavatam also mentions the Braja Devi's husbands. Moreover, it is stated in Ujjwal Leelamani that gopis never had union with their husbands at any time. So actually, this is a very elevated topic, but the influence of Yogamaya will inspire the gopis with the sentiment that I am their paramour. So next verse he says, Amiha na jani taha na jane gopikan duhara rupa gune duhara nitya hare man. Amiha, I, na jani, shall not know, tatha, that, na jani, will not know, gopi gana, the gopis, duhara of the two, Rupa Gune, the beauty and qualities. Tuhara of the two, Nitya always, Hare, carry away, Mana, the mind. Neither the gopis nor I shall notice this. For our mind shall always be entranced by one another's beauty and quality. In spiritual sky, in the Vaikuntha, planets are dominated by Narayan. His devotees have the same features. He does not. He does the same features he does, and the exchange of devotion there is on the platform of reverence. But above all the Vaikuntha planets is Golok or Krishna Loka, where the original personality of Godhead Krishna fully manifests his pleasure potency in free loving affairs. Since the devotees in the material world know almost nothing about these affairs, the Lord desires to show these affairs to them. In Golok Vrindavan, there is an exchange of love known as Parakya Rasa. It is sometimes like the attraction of a married woman for a man other than her husband. In the material world, this sort of relationship is most abominable because it is a perverted reflection of the Parakya Rasa in the spiritual world, where it is the highest kind of loving affair. Such feelings between the devotee and the Lord are presented by the influence of Yoga Maya. The Bhagavad Gita states that devotees of the highest grade are under the care of Daiva Maya or Yoga Maya. Mahatmanastu Maham Partha Daivyam Prakriti Mahashitaha. Those who are actually great souls, Mahatmas, are fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, always engaged in the service of the Lord. They are under the care of Daivi Prakriti or Yoga Maya. Yoga Maya creates a situation in which the devotee is prepared to transgress all regulated principles simply to love Krishna. A devotee naturally does not like to transgress the laws of reverence for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but by the influence of Yoga Maya, he is prepared to do anything to love the Supreme Lord better. Those under the spell of the material energy cannot at all appreciate the activities of Yoga Maya. For a conditioned soul can hardly understand the pure reciprocation between the Lord and his devotee. But by executing devotional service under the regulative principles, one can become very highly elevated and then begin to appreciate the dealings of pure love under the management of Yoga Maya. In the spiritual loving sentiments induced by the Yoga Maya potency, both Lord Sri Krishna and the damsels of Raja forget themselves in spiritual rapture. By the influence of such forgetfulness, the attractive beauty of the gopis plays a prominent part in the transcendental satisfaction of the Lord, who has nothing to do with mundane sex. Because spiritual love of Godhead is above everything mundane, the gopis superficially seem to transgress the codes of mundane morality. This perpetually possesses mundane moralists. Therefore, Yogamaya acts to cover the Lord and his pastimes from the eyes of mundaners, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, where the Lord says that he reserves the right of not being exposed to everyone. The acts of Yogamaya make it possible for the Lord and the gopis in loving ecstasy to sometimes meet and sometimes separate. These transcendental loving affairs of the Lord are unimaginable to empiricists involved in the impersonal feature of the absolute truth. Therefore, the Lord himself appears before the mundaners to bestow upon them the highest form of spiritual realization and also personally release its essence. The Lord is so merciful that he himself descends to take the fallen souls back home to the kingdom of Godhead, where the erotic principles of Godhead are eternally relished in their real form, distinct from the perverted sexual love, so much adored and indulged in by the fallen souls in their diseased condition. The reason the Lord displays the Rasa Leela is essentially to induce all the fallen souls to give up their diseased morality and religiosity, and to attract them to the kingdom of God to enjoy the reality. A person who actually understands what a Rasa Leela is will certainly hate to indulge in mundane sex life. For the realized soul, hearing the Lord's Rasa Leela through the proper channel will result in complete abstinence from material sexual pleasure. So here actually very clearly has been told that this Rasa Leela is not the loving affair between a young boy and young girl. Vikritam Brajavedaridam cha Vishnu Shraddhan Vito Anushunayar Athavarnayadya Bhaktim Param Bhagavati Pratilabhya Kamam Rudrogam Ashu Apahinoti Achirana Dhira. So this Rasa Leela, if you hear from lips of pure devotees, then lust will go away. Because this is the Krishna's conquering of the Cupid. The Cupid is harassing everyone in the material world, but his Rasa Leela is actually the greatest. So now we are going to this Navadvip Dham. So this Koladip, where we are going, where our Matha is situated, Keshavji Gaudiya Math, is actually Giraj Govardhan himself And Rasik Bhaktas take darshan of the banks of the nearby Bhagirathi as the place of Rasa Leela, the Rasasthali of the banks of the Jamuna. So adjacent to this Rasasthali and to the south is Ritudvipa, which is not different from Radha Kunda and Sham Kunda. Bahulavan is situated to the north. So our supremely worshipful Sri Gurudev, the crest jewel of the community of Acharyas, established this Mata here only after considering everything written in the Shastras about this place. So this actually Koladip is Giraj Govardhan. It is actually the great place. Actually, one time, one devotee was studying the commentaries on Ras Leela, Brahmar Gita, etc. And what Srila Gurudev told, Param Gurudev told, that the qualification to hear topics such as Ras Leela will come when Shri Nama Kirtan has freed the heart from anarthas and Shuddha Sattva has appeared. Therefore, otherwise the transcendental pastimes of Shri Radha Govinda will appear to be the activities of a worldly hero and heroine and will only give rise to false ideas. The conception of rasa is only possible in the Siddha Deha, the state of perfection. It is impossible to pursue Shringar ras in the material body. Only a person who is freed from the lower type of enjoyment and in the stage of bhava is qualified to discuss Sambhog rasa, the melo of amorous love. So we cannot discuss this melo of amorous love unless we are liberated. Understand? We should try to hear the Harikatha from Gurudev and do Nama Sankirtan. And then, because what is going on in Vrindavan, actually, we should be very careful, actually, who we hear from. And, actually, many debauchees are there. They give pretentious lectures on Ras Leela, imitate it. Thus, these debauchees cheapen the Aprakrit Rasa for the Jada, material Rasa. They believe that it is absolutely necessary to keep the company of another's wife as an illicit paramour in order to realize Aprakrit Rasa. They say that if you want to realize what Krishna did with Radharani, then you should also have a girlfriend like that. And you should be his wife. Now, this is what is going on. People are debauchees, they cheapen the Aprakrit Rasa for the Jada, material Rasa. And they keep company of others' wives. Conversely, they think that Jiva Goswami and Sri Narottam Das Thakur cannot possibly be Rasikas because Jiva Goswami was a brahmachari from boyhood and Sri Narottam Das Thakur never entered household life. So they say that how can the Radha Krishna's conjugal pastimes, they are so confidential, but Jiva Goswami can never understand what is conjugal pastime because he was brahmachari. He never had any association with a woman. And also Narottam Das Thakur also never entered household life. He never got married. So if they don't know how to deal with a wife or woman, then how can they understand Radha Krishna's pastime? So such people are there. Such people are called Prakrita Sahajiyas. They are called imitationists. So actually, so these are transcendental pastimes. Once Sri Krishna was relishing Rasa Leela with his Sakhis on the bank of Yamuna. Crores of gopis were reveling in pastimes with him. And he began to dance with the gopis one after another, absorbed in ecstatic love, sometimes embracing one and sometimes another. Krishna enjoyed a variety of loving exchanges, sometimes with Srimati Radhika and sometimes with others. Srimati Radhika observed that Krishna was embracing and dancing with other gopis as he was with her. Seeing that he was not honoring her superiority over the other gopis, she became angry with him. This is called Man. Angry means Man. She immediately left the Rasasthali and hid in a nearby kunja. After a short time, Krishna noticed Srimati Radhika's absence and became restless. She for whom I performed this Rasa Vilas, who is dearer to me than my very life, has left me. He thought, where did she go? Dancing and dallying with millions and millions of gopis could not capture Krishna's heart even for a moment. Afflicted with separation from Srimati Radhika, he left the Rasa Mandali at once and began to search in one kunja after another. Calling out, "Oh Radha, where are you?" As he searched widely for Srimati Radhika, the crown jewel of all his beloved Sakhis, he arrived at the bank of the Kalindi. By now he was tired and hopeless from his long search. So under the shade of a tamarind tree in a charming kunja, he began chanting the name of Radha in deep anxiety. Sometimes he would call out in a melancholy way, "Oh Praneshwari, alas, oh Queen of my heart, you have deserted me. Where have you gone? Radha Vishleshaka Krishna He ekada prema vibvala Radha mantram japan dhyayan Radha sarvatra pashyati. Varaha Samhita tells, overwhelmed by deep separation from Srimati Radhika, Shri Krishna madly chanted the Radha mantra. As he meditated on her, she gradually began to manifest herself to him everywhere. Feeling her presence inwardly and outwardly, he became like Srimati Radhika. His body luster also became like hers. This is the first meaning of the Radha Linga Vigram. Radha Chinta Niveshena Yasya Kantir Vilopita Shri Krishna Charanam Mande Radha Linga Vigram. So Shri Gaur Sundar used to go to Imlitala because that is where this pastime took place. And it is the location of that particular tamarind tree. Overwhelmed with emotion, he used to chant the holy name, weeping bitterly. So, like this is the transcendental love of Radha Krishna. It has nothing to do with mundane sex life. So, we are actually praying to Brinda Devi. Brinda Devi is also one Prakash of Yoga Maya, Purnamasi Devi. So, we pray to Brinda Devi in Arti. Oh, Brinda, by your mercy, the greed to have darshan of Rasalila arises in the heart of Krishna's devotees. By your mercy, they obtain residence in Sri Vrindavan Dham and receive service to the lotus feet of their Prana Vallabh, Shri Radha Madhav. I repeatedly offer obeisances at your lotus feet. Only by the mercy of Yoga Maya, Vrinda Devi, Yoga Maya, Purnamasi Devi, we can have vision of Rasa Lila. That's why every day we must worship Tulsi Devi. You see that actually even the Narayan form is not able to attract them. Once during his Vraja pastimes, Krishna suddenly disappeared from the Ras Lila, manifesting his four-arm form. He stood on the path of the gopis who were searching for him. Understand? But gopis, they did pranam to the four-arm form. They did not, were not attracted to the four-arm form. So gopis, they are only attracted to the two-arm form. Understand? So this is the greatness of gopis actually. So we'll stop our class today. I offer my humble obeisances at lotus feet of Shri Nityananda Prabhu, all the Gurudev Shri Vaishnava, Shri Padandi Maharaj, all the Vaishnavas who have attended the class today. And we pray to the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu that he will give us Guru Nishtha, Guru Bhakti, Vaishnava Seva, and remove our offenses and give us Nam Prem and this taste for this Chaitanya Charitamrita and Raga Marga Bhakti, Rupanuga Vaishnavata. We pray to him like this. Hare Krishna. Vanshakal Patrubhyasya Kripa Vaishnavbhyo Namo Namah. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you
Hare
so much.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. कीजिए ध्वनि. जय श्री श्री गुरु गौरांग दामोदर गिरधारी श्री श्री राधा विद्या जी की जय. जय मिथिला प्रतिगत गुरु श्री श्री भक्तिदानंद नारायण गोसाई महाराज गुरुदेव की जय. लीला कृष्ण विष्णुपाद श्री श्री भक्तिदानंद वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय. लीला कृष्ण विष्णुपाद श्री श्री भक्तिदानंद त्रिविक्रम गोसाई महाराज की जय. लीला कृष्ण विष्णुपाद श्री श्रीमद गौरवंद गोसाई महाराज की जय. लीला कृष्ण विष्णुपाद श्री श्रीमद भक्तिदानंद स्वामी महाराज की जय. आचार्य केशरी श्री श्रीमद भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय. लीला कृष्ण विष्णुपाद श्री श्रीमद भक्ति रक्षक गोसाई महाराज की जय. लीला कृष्ण विष्णुपाद श्री श्रीमद भक्ति प्रपत्पुरी गोसाई महाराज. लीला कृष्ण विष्णुपाद श्री श्रीमद भक्ति श्रीमद सिद्धांति गोसाई महाराज की जय. लीला कृष्ण विष्णुपाद श्री श्रीमद भक्ति भारती गोसाई महाराज की जय. सपरिकर जगत गुरु श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद ठाकुर की जय. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासुदेव गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपी गोवर्धन द्वार सवनात्मक मंडल की जय. गंगा जमुना तुलसी भक्त देवी की जय. श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा की जय. सर्व विघ्न विनाशन भक्त विघ्न विनाशन भगवान की जय. भक्त प्रभु प्रहलाद महाराज की जय. चारों संप्रदाय की जय. चारों आचार्य की जय. चारों धामों की जय. आकर मठराज चैतन्य मठ की जय. केशव जी गौड़िया मठ की जय. रूप सनातन गौड़िया मठ की जय. गिरिधारी गौड़िया मठ की जय. रमण बिहारी गौड़िया मठ की जय. रंगनाथ गौड़िया मठ की जय. श्री दामोदर गौड़िया मठ की जय. अन्य शाखा मठ समूह की जय. दंडी स्वामी शिष्य भक्तिदान दंडी महाराज जी की जय. नामनिष्ठ संत श्री अनिरुद्धास प्रभु की जय. मठे से वृंद की जय. धामवासी भक्त वृंद की जय. समागत भक्त वृंद की जय. श्री धाम की जय. श्री नित्यानंद बलराम प्रभु की जय. तृतीय शिव आयुर्वेद महामहोत्सव की जय. नित्यानंद त्रयोदशी की जय. निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे. हरि हरि बोल. Thank you so much for attending the classes. I am seeing our regular devotees. So Nicole Didi has come. and also all devotees. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Happy Nityananda Trayodasi. Tomorrow morning there will be Parana. We can break our fast by honoring grain prasadam. Today we are taking on the fruit and groundnuts and something like this. Some sabji, potato sabji like this. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Bol, Hare Bol.
Vajapatitanam Pavanabhi Vaishnavi Benamanama Vaishnavi Benamanama Vaishnavi Benamanama.
Dandavat,
Hare
Dandavat,
Krishna Maharaj,
Hare
from thank you so much, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you for joining today. And
Hare Bol.
we'll see you all tomorrow for Shripad Bhakti Vedanta Dandi Maharaj's class. And yeah, that's it. Hare Krishna Dandavat.
Dandavat, thank you so much. Dandavat. Thank you, Vishaka. Dandavat.
Hare Krishna Dandavat.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat, Dandavat, Dandavat. Thank you, Vishaka.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Maharaj.
Dandavat, Nicole Didi. Hare Krishna. Nice to see you. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Keep
you.
on chanting.
Yes,
Hare
yes.
Krishna.
Especially today.
Very good, very good, very good, very good. Hare Krishna. I'm so happy to see you online. Okay.
Thank you. Nice to hear y'all.
Thank you, Didi. Hare Krishna. Dandavat. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.